This is part 3 of our series on money. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 yet, you'll find the links waiting in the description. But if you're ready, we go further now. Because this is where the truth gets personal. This is no longer just about the system. It's about you. By now you've seen it all. You've seen how money is fake, how it's conjured, distributed, and weaponized. You've seen how debt keeps people in chains, how the education system was never designed to free you, and how scarcity is a myth. But now comes the most important question of all. How do you escape? How do you break out of a system you were born into? How do you unplug from a game that defines your every move? This isn't just about money anymore. It's about freedom. Chapter 15, The Prison in Your Mind. First, you need to understand this. The greatest prison is invisible. It lives in your beliefs. Most people don't chase money for what it is. They chase what they think it means. Security, status, validation, worth. But here's the hard truth. If you believe you're only as valuable as your income, then the system doesn't need chains. You'll enslave yourself. So before you escape externally, you must escape internally. You must question the narratives you inherited. That success means a job title. That being rich means owning lots of stuff. That the never-ending hustle is the only way to live. These are lies, useful to the system, harmful to the soul. The real game starts when you realize you are not your paycheck. You are not your possessions. You are not a product. You are a creator, taught to be a consumer. A builder, taught to be a borrower. It's time to remember who you are. Chapter 16, The Game You Can Win. Let's be practical. How do you actually build freedom? How do you take back power in a rigged game? It starts by flipping the roles. Instead of working for money, make money work for you. Here's how the wealthy really play the game. First, they buy assets, not liabilities. Assets generate income. Liabilities drain it. Most people buy a new car. The wealthy buy a vending machine. One goes down in value. The other pays you monthly. Second, they leverage debt. They don't drown in it. Poor people borrow to consume. The rich borrow to invest. Same tool, different outcomes. Third, they value time over money. Most trade hours for dollars. The rich trade dollars to buy back hours. They hire help, automate processes, and build systems that work while they sleep. And lastly, they understand that the tax code is a game. The system rewards investors and business owners, and punishes employees. They use corporations, tax shelters, depreciation, and legal loopholes to keep more of what they earn. But more important than tactics is perspective. The rich don't think like the rest. They understand money is just one form of capital. They invest in knowledge, which compounds forever. Networks, which open unseen doors. Reputation, which prints opportunity. You don't need millions to start. You just need the mindset to stop playing defense. Chapter 17, The Law of Value Exchange. Here's one truth the world never tells you. Money is not the root of wealth. Value is, and across every culture, every civilization, every spiritual text, and every law of nature, the same principle repeats. What you give determines what you get. The Bible says, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. Luke 6:38. The ancient Hermeticists called it the law of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Newton gave it to us in science. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In Eastern philosophy, it's called karma. Your actions echo across time and space, shaping your reality. Different words. Same law. At its core, the law of value exchange. Give energy, get energy. Give service, receive compensation. Give solutions, attract attention, trust, and wealth. You see, most people chase money. But money is just the shadow of value, a receipt, the proof of value exchanged. It follows, it reflects, it echoes. And here's the secret most never learn. If you want more money, stop chasing the shadow. Start creating the substance. Create value. Improve something. Solve problems. Reduce pain. Save time. Make people feel something they couldn't before. That's where wealth begins. Not in a bank, not in a vault, not in some speculative market, but in you and what you give to the world. Chapter 18, Communicating Value, the invisible skill. But here's the twist. You can have the best idea in the world, the most transformative product, the most helpful service. But if no one knows, if no one understands the value, if no one feels what it can do for them, it dies in the dark. Value must be seen, to be exchanged. This is why some people make millions selling fluff, while others struggle with brilliant ideas that never spread, because they've mastered communication, presentation, framing, storytelling, positioning, understanding what others want, and translating your value into that language. Think of the con artist, the scammer. They have no real value, but they look like they do. They sound like they do. They've mastered the language of value, without the substance. Now flip the coin. The humble genius, the overqualified expert, the quiet innovator. Tons of value, but no reach, no influence, no leverage. Real wealth comes from the fusion of both, creating value and knowing how to communicate it. This is what society never teaches. They'll teach you how to obey, how to fit in, how to memorize formulas, but not how to build value, not how to market value, not how to leverage value. And yet that's the core of wealth. It's why your favorite artist makes millions, not because their music is objectively better, but because they tapped into emotion, timing, aesthetic, culture. They made their value resonate. Chapter 19, Beyond Money, the Many Forms of Wealth. Here's something else they don't teach in school. Money is just one way to store value, but there are many others. Skills, which stores value in your ability to solve problems. Relationships, which involves storing value in trust and collaboration. Reputation stores value in perception and influence. Attention stores value in visibility and reach. Health, which stores value in time, energy, capacity. Creativity, which stores value in potential to shape worlds. And perspective, which stores value in the quality of your decisions. Wealth is multidimensional. It's not just digits in a bank. It's leverage, options, alignment. So now let's flip the question. Instead of how do I make more money, ask, what value can I create? How can I communicate it better? Where else can I store the value I build? This is how you escape the rat race. Not by chasing more, but by becoming more. You start to notice opportunities in everyday pain. You start to see business ideas in everyday problems. You start to realize that wherever there's a gap between what people want and what they have, there's value to be created, and if you can create it and communicate it, you'll never be broke again. Chapter 20. The exit isn't a destination, it's a decision. Most people think escape means a number. If I just had $1 million, if I could just retire early, if I could just win the lottery. But this kind of thinking is still rooted in scarcity, in waiting, in helplessness. The truth? Escape is a choice, and it begins now. It begins the moment you stop participating in the illusion. When you stop competing in status games, when you stop consuming mindlessly, when you stop equating income with identity. Real wealth begins with autonomy, the ability to say no, to walk away, to create your own rules. That might mean starting a side hustle, learning a digital skill, investing $100 instead of spending it on dopamine. It might mean moving to a lower-cost country, downsizing your lifestyle, or living more simply but more freely. There is no one path, only this truth. The less you need, the freer you become. Chapter 21, The Power of Opting Out. You don't have to burn the system to beat it. You can just stop feeding it. Turn off mindless content. Cancel the useless subscriptions. Ditch the fast fashion and dopamine delivery. Stop trading your peace for pixels. Opting out doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It means becoming sovereign, independent in thought, responsible in action, free in spirit. It means being conscious of what you buy and why you buy it. It means working not just for money, but for mission. It means creating value instead of just consuming it. This is rebellion, not in protest. But in practice, the system doesn't fear marches. It fears minds that no longer need it. Chapter 22, Redefining Wealth. We've been taught to measure wealth in dollars, in cars, in watches, in square footage. But what if wealth was never about accumulation? What if true wealth is about conversion? The ability to convert your time into impact, your ideas into value, your value into freedom. You see, wealth isn't what's in your account. It's what you can do regardless of what's in your account. It's your adaptability, your creativity, your capacity to solve and to serve. Because now you know, wealth doesn't just come from money, it stems from value. And money follows value. So if you want more wealth, stop asking, how do I get more money? Start asking, where is value missing in the world around me? What problem can I solve that people actually care about? How do I show them the value in a way that connects? That's the formula. Value created. Value communicated. Value stored, do that, and money shows up as a byproduct. So when we say redefine wealth, we're not just talking about owning assets. We're talking about owning abilities. The ability to think for yourself in a world that trains you to conform. The ability to spot needs before others do and meet them. The ability to create products, ideas, services that elevate others. The ability to articulate your worth without needing validation. Because what you truly own, no one can take. Not inflation, not a market crash, not an algorithm update, not a broken economy. That is wealth. The poor mindset hoards. The wealthy mindset flows. The poor mindset chases the shadow, money. The wealthy mindset masters the source, value. Because real wealth isn't about how much you have, it's about how well you understand how value moves. And once you master that, you're no longer playing the game. You become the architect of it. Chapter 23. The revolution will be internal. We keep looking outward for revolutions. But the biggest shift is inward. It's not about overthrowing the banks. It's about uninstalling their software from your mind. Unlearning consumerism. Unlearning wage slavery. Unlearning the belief that you are your bank account. Because once enough people wake up, the illusion collapses. They can't control a population that refuses to be hypnotized. They can't manipulate minds that know the magic trick. They can't enslave those who no longer chase their carrots. This is how revolutions start. Not with riots, but with realization, and you just had one. The hidden truth. You were never meant to be a cog, a consumer, a number on a balance sheet. You were born to create, to think, to build, to question, to be free. Money was supposed to be a tool, not your master. It was supposed to serve you, not the other way around. But the illusion is strong, the spell is ancient, and the architects of this system are clever. Yet here you are, eyes open, questioning everything. That's not just awareness, that's danger to them, because a single awakened mind is more disruptive than a million distracted ones. And now the question is yours. What will you do with this awareness? Will you go back to sleep or build something new? Because the truth is, the system isn't your prison. It's your canvas. And you're not a pawn. You're a player, and the game is just beginning. If this opened your eyes, if you felt something crack inside you, you're not alone. There are millions more waking up quietly, curiously, courageously. This is your space, your tribe, your mirror. So if you're ready to go deeper, to explore the hidden truths behind power, society, and self, hit that subscribe button. Not because we want numbers, but because together, we're rewriting the story. This was part 3 of our series on money, the greatest illusion humanity ever believed. But this is just the beginning. Next, we go even deeper. Because money was never the root. It was just the symptom. Power's the disease. And truth is the cure.